The basketball hit the rim, twice, then bounced off. Silence. The entire gym froze. Alex Rivera, drenched in sweat, could feel every eye on him, burning through his chest. Did he just blow the championship, all because he was the coach's kid, the one everyone said didn't belong on the court? Alex's life had never been easy. Growing up in a cramped apartment above his mother's laundromat, he learned to hustle before he could even ride a bike. His father had left when he was 10, leaving him with nothing but a name on a high school sports roster and dreams bigger than his circumstances. Coach Daniels, his mother's best friend, had taken him under his wing, but the team saw him as a joke: rich kid, soft hands, no heart. Every practice, every drill, every slam dunk the other kids made was a reminder he didn't belong. The championship was supposed to be his chance. But when the starting lineup was announced, his stomach sank. "Alex, you're on the bench," Coach Daniels said. His teammates smirked. Mason, the star point guard, leaned back, whispering to his friends, "Guess the coach finally realized talent doesn't run in families." Alex nodded, biting his tongue. He had nothing to prove, yet. The first half was brutal. The opposing team, Northfield Titans, was relentless. Alex watched from the sidelines as his teammates fumbled, missed shots, and lost their rhythm. Every mistake fueled Mason's arrogance, and the crowd's whispers. But Alex didn't give up. Every timeout, he studied the Titans' defense. Every cheer, every groan, sharpened his mind. He could feel the turning point approaching, he just didn't know when or how. Then, disaster struck. The team's star shooter went down with a twisted ankle in the third quarter. Chaos erupted. The scoreboard read 52-47. 5 minutes left. And the coach's eyes finally met Alex's. "You're up," Coach Daniels said, voice steady but heavy with expectation. The gym went silent. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. Every laugh, every doubt from the season surged in his mind, but so did every early morning practice, every scraped knee, every late-night solo training session in the old community gym. He took the court. The ball felt familiar in his hands, like it belonged there. First pass, first drive, first shot, perfect. The crowd erupted. Alex had found his rhythm, weaving past defenders, reading their every move. Mason, smirking at first, froze as Alex sank a three-pointer from the corner. The smirk faded. The underdog, the kid everyone doubted, was now the team's engine. Inside, Alex was terrified. His mind raced with doubt, fear, and adrenaline. Could he carry the team through these final minutes? Could he silence all those mocking voices? Mason's jealousy burned. "You're not ready for this," he hissed under his breath, but Alex only heard it as fuel. Every ounce of humiliation, every time someone said he wasn't enough, fueled his focus. With only 10 seconds left, the scoreboard read 68-68. The ball was in Alex's hands. He dribbled. Heart hammering. Sweat stinging his eyes. The gym was a storm of noise, but inside, everything was quiet. He could feel every memory, his mother's sacrifices, the lonely nights at the gym, the ridicule at school, guiding him. He leapt. Shot. Time seemed to freeze. The ball sailed through the air. Then, at the last possible moment, Mason lunged, fingertips grazing it. Alex's eyes widened. Did it go in? The buzzer blared. The crowd's roar turned to gasps, then screams. Alex didn't know if he had just lost everything or finally won the moment he'd been fighting for his whole life. The locker room was chaotic. Teammates shouted, some celebrating, some groaning. Alex's chest heaved. He tried to catch his breath, tried to process what had just happened. Coach Daniels walked over, eyes locked on him, and for the first time all season, Alex saw pride there. But the fight wasn't over. Mason, furious and red-faced, glared at Alex. You think this changes anything? You haven't won yet, he spat. Alex's hands clenched around the ball. He wanted to respond, to throw a line back at Mason, to prove him wrong, but deep down, he knew the real battle was just beginning. Outside the gym, news vans had arrived. Someone had live-streamed the final seconds, and clips were already going viral. Suddenly, Alex realized this wasn't just a high school championship. Something bigger was at play, and everyone watching, scouts, coaches, rivals, was waiting for his next move. And then his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number: "Meet me tomorrow at the city sports complex. You've got potential, but talent alone isn't enough. Be ready." Alex stared at it, heart pounding. He had fought for every inch to get here. And now, it seemed like the real challenge, the one that could change his entire future, was just beginning. Will Alex rise to the next level, or will the pressure of being an underdog in the big leagues finally crush him? Alex stared at the text for what felt like an eternity, the words burning in his mind: "Meet me tomorrow at the city sports complex. You've got potential, but talent alone isn't enough. Be ready." He didn't sleep that night. Every noise outside, the distant roar of traffic, a dog barking, even the creak of the apartment above, felt like it was signaling the storm that awaited him. Tomorrow, he knew, would change everything. The next morning, the streets of the city were alive with the hum of ambition and chaos. Skyscrapers towered above him, reflecting the sunlight in blinding flashes. Alex clutched his backpack, heart hammering with a mix of fear and excitement. He didn't know who had sent the message, or what awaited him, but he couldn't turn back now. When he arrived at the city sports complex, the place was enormous. State-of-the-art courts stretched as far as he could see. The smell of polished wood and the echo of bouncing basketballs filled the air. And there, standing at center court, was a man unlike anyone Alex had ever seen. Tall, commanding, dressed in sleek athletic gear, his gaze sharp enough to cut steel. "You must be Alex Rivera," the man said, voice calm but heavy with authority. "I've been watching you." Alex swallowed. "Who are you?" "I'm Coach Morales," he replied. "And I don't have time for games. Today, I'll test if you're the player I think you are, or just another kid who peaked in high school." Alex's stomach twisted. This wasn't going to be easy. He thought the championship was the hardest day of his life, but he was about to be proven wrong. Morales wasted no time. "You start with the drills," he barked. "Fast, precise, no mistakes. If you can't handle this, the next level isn't for you." The first drill was relentless. Alex ran laps with weights strapped to his legs, sweat pouring, lungs burning, muscles screaming. Every time he faltered, Morales' piercing eyes cut through him. "Faster. Don't just run, dominate the court." By the third hour, Alex's legs felt like lead. His hands blistered from dribbling, but he couldn't stop. Every mistake, every stuttered pass, only made Morales push harder. And then came the scrimmage. Alex stepped onto the court. Opposing him were players from across the city, each taller, faster, stronger. They sneered at him, whispering under their breath. "This kid thinks he belongs here," one said. The whistle blew. Chaos erupted. Players collided, jumps were timed to the millisecond, passes threaded through impossibly tight defenses. Alex moved like he had no other choice, darting, weaving, thinking faster than his body could keep up. And then he saw it, Mason. His old high school rival, now a city-level player, had somehow ended up here too. Their eyes locked. A silent storm passed between them. Mason smirked, just like before. "Thought you could escape me?" Alex's heart pounded. This wasn't just about proving himself anymore. It was personal. Minutes into the scrimmage, Alex made a daring steal, dribbled past two defenders, and leapt for a shot. The ball arced beautifully, but someone grabbed him mid-air. He crashed to the floor, wind knocked out of him. The arena went silent. Pain lanced through his ribs, but he pushed himself up. Morales' eyes burned into him. "Get back in," he said, simple, unyielding. The rest of the day blurred into a fever dream of drills, plays, and relentless pressure. Every time Alex thought he had reached his limit, Morales intensified the challenge. But deep down, Alex felt a fire ignite. He was alive. Every insult, every doubt, every moment of humiliation had led him here, and he wasn't going to quit. By nightfall, Morales finally blew his whistle. Alex collapsed onto a bench, gasping, drenched in sweat, bruised and exhausted. Morales walked over, expression unreadable. "You're better than I thought," he said slowly. "But I'm not done testing you." Alex lifted his head. "What do you mean?" Morales' gaze flicked to the edge of the court, where a massive electronic scoreboard displayed the words, "City Championship Tryouts, Final Round, Tomorrow." Alex froze. Tomorrow wasn't a practice. It was the next level. The pressure. The stakes. His whole life had been leading to this, but now the scale of the challenge was almost paralyzing. And then his phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Alex's fingers trembled as he opened the message. "Some of your biggest threats are closer than you think. Watch your back. Be ready." He looked up. The city lights glimmered through the complex windows. Shadows moved in the corners of the gym. He wasn't alone. And then a whisper reached his ear, low, cold, and unmistakable. "You really think you're ready, Alex?" Alex's heart stopped. The final round wasn't just tomorrow. It was already here. And the people who wanted to see him fail were watching, waiting. Could Alex survive the pressure, the rivals, and the secrets closing in on him? Or was this only the beginning of a nightmare that could destroy everything he had worked for? The stadium lights blazed down like spotlights on a battlefield. Alex Rivera's heart thundered so loudly he could barely hear the roar of the crowd. This wasn't just another game. This was the final round of the city championship, and the stakes were higher than anything he had ever faced. As he stepped onto the polished court, every muscle screaming, he saw them. The rivals. Mason and his new elite teammates, all taller, faster, stronger, eyes burning with smug confidence. Whispers ran through the crowd, "This is the kid who blew the high school championship." Alex felt every doubter, every insult from his past, pressed down on him, but he gritted his teeth and tightened his fists. Coach Morales approached him, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. "This is your moment, Alex. Not just to play, but to show them who you really are. Trust yourself." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. Inside, fear clawed at him, but beneath it, determination roared louder. The whistle blew. The game erupted. Fast passes, slam dunks, impossible steals, the court became a storm. Alex moved with precision, weaving past defenders like a shadow, anticipation guiding every move. Mason caught sight of him, smirk twisting into rage. "You think last year gave you an edge," he spat. "I'll crush you today." Alex ignored him, focusing on the ball, the rhythm, the energy pulsing through the arena. Sweat stung his eyes, lungs burned, and every bone in his body begged for rest, but he pushed forward. Midway through the second half, disaster struck. Mason's teammate collided with Alex mid-dribble, sending him sprawling across the floor. The crowd gasped. Pain shot through his ribs, every breath a dagger, but Alex forced himself up. Morales' eyes met his, steady and commanding, "Get up. This is your fight." Alex gritted his teeth and surged forward, moving faster than ever. One by one, he dismantled Mason's defenses, landing precise passes, daring shots, and jaw-dropping steals. The scoreboard ticked closer, 78-78. Only 30 seconds remained. Then came the moment that would change everything. Mason intercepted a pass and sprinted toward the hoop, intent on winning the game for his team. Alex chased him down the court, heart pounding like a war drum. At the last second, he leapt, fingertips brushing the ball, twisting it midair. But instead of the ball dropping neatly into his hands, it slipped, bouncing wildly across the court. Mason smirked, thinking victory was his, but Alex didn't falter. He lunged, caught the ball mid-bounce, pivoted, and flung a shot toward the hoop with every ounce of strength left in his body. Time slowed. The ball arced perfectly. The entire stadium held its breath. And then, someone yanked Alex down. Hard. From behind. He hit the floor, wind knocked out of him, and the ball soared past the hoop, missing by inches. Gasps exploded. The crowd roared, a mix of shock and disbelief. Alex scrambled to his feet. His ribs screamed, sweat blurred his vision, but he couldn't believe it, someone had tried to sabotage him. The arena fell silent as he scanned the court, eyes wide. Mason grinned, but it wasn't him this time. No, it was a new face, one Alex didn't recognize, a shadow in the elite team's lineup. Coach Morales stormed forward, furious. "Who the hell are you?" The mysterious player smirked, leaning casually against the sideline. "Let's just say I'm here to make sure the underdog doesn't get too far." His voice was cold, precise, filled with menace. Alex's heart pounded. Everything he had fought for, the championships, the redemption, the chance to prove himself, was suddenly in jeopardy. Every step, every move, every ounce of effort could now be wiped out by this unknown adversary. The clock ticked down. 5 seconds. Alex clutched the ball, shaking from exhaustion, pain, and adrenaline. He had one shot. One moment to prove he belonged. The mysterious player lunged again. Alex spun, dodged, and sprinted toward the hoop. The crowd rose to its feet, voices blending into a deafening roar. He leapt. And then, a whistle cut through the noise. A referee ran onto the court, waving his arms frantically. Foul. Foul on number 23. Alex skidded to a stop, confused, chest heaving. The mysterious player smirked and walked back, leaving Alex to stare at the free throw line, sweat and blood mingling on his face. Everything hinged on these 2 shots. 2 shots that would decide if he was a hero, or if his dreams would be shattered forever. The stadium held its breath. Alex stepped to the line. He closed his eyes, heart pounding, memories of every setback, every insult, every hard-earned victory flashing before him. The ball left his hands. It spun through the air. And then, the screen cut to black. The words appeared slowly, to be continued. The audience was left hanging, hearts racing, minds screaming for answers. Did Alex sink both shots? Would the mysterious saboteur ruin everything? And most importantly, who was watching from the shadows, orchestrating the chaos behind the scenes? The crowd was frozen. The arena had turned into a storm of noise and chaos, but for Alex Rivera, time seemed to stretch into a heartbeat too long. The ball spun through the air, twisting, bending toward the hoop, and everything he had ever fought for hung in the balance. But before it could drop, a shadow moved at the edge of his vision. The mysterious player from the previous round, the one who had sabotaged him, stepped forward, a smirk curving across his face. Alex's stomach twisted. This wasn't just a rival anymore. This was someone who wanted to break him completely. Coach Morales shouted from the sidelines, his voice slicing through the roar of the crowd. "Alex. Focus. Trust yourself." Alex's hands trembled, but he gritted his teeth, remembering every scrape, every lonely night at the gym, every insult he had endured. He wasn't just playing for himself anymore, he was playing for everyone who had ever doubted him, for every hard-fought step that had brought him here. He released the ball. It spun perfectly, an elegant arc, and swished cleanly through the hoop. The arena erupted. But the relief was short-lived. The scoreboard didn't change the way it should have. Alex froze. Confusion rippled through him. Coach Morales' eyes narrowed. He looked to the scoreboard technician, who shook his head, panic in his voice. The system, something's wrong, points aren't registering properly. Before anyone could react, the mysterious player laughed, a cold, cutting sound that made the hair on the back of Alex's neck stand on end. "You think winning is that simple?" he sneered. "This game isn't just about skill. It's about control." Alex's heart pounded. Something was off. The sabotage wasn't random, it was deliberate. Someone had rigged the championship. Someone powerful. Someone who wanted to humiliate him, to crush every ounce of hope he had built. He looked around. The crowd was buzzing with confusion, parents shouting, players arguing, coaches frantically gesturing. And then he noticed her, sitting silently in the shadows of the press box, watching with an intensity that froze his blood. A woman in black, sunglasses concealing her eyes. Alex didn't recognize her, but he knew, instinctively, she was behind this. Mason's smirk returned, but it was sharper now, colder. "You really think you can beat us, Rivera?" he hissed, leaning close during a timeout. "This isn't your league. You're in over your head." Alex clenched the ball, his mind racing. He couldn't back down. Not now. Not after everything. He forced himself to breathe, to focus. Every muscle, every fiber of his being screamed for action. The final minute began. Alex had the ball. The arena fell silent as he dribbled down the court. Every move was precise, every glance calculating. The mysterious player tried to intercept, but Alex anticipated it, twisting, feinting, breaking past the defense with a surge of speed he didn't know he had. He launched a shot from half-court, a desperate gamble. Time seemed to stop. The ball flew, spinning in slow motion, toward the hoop, and then, the lights flickered. The arena plunged into darkness. A single spotlight illuminated the center of the court, the ball still arcing through the air. Gasps echoed. Confusion erupted. Coaches shouted. Players froze. And then, light returned. The ball hit the rim, teetered, then dropped perfectly through the hoop. The crowd went insane, screaming, cheering, and whistling. Alex's teammates rushed him, lifting him up in triumph, but he couldn't celebrate. Something in the shadows had moved. The mysterious woman in black had vanished. The scoreboard was still flickering erratically. Morales' eyes scanned the arena, tension rippling across his face. "This isn't over," he muttered under his breath. Alex's chest burned from adrenaline and fatigue, but his mind raced. Whoever was behind this, whoever had rigged the system, wasn't done. The championship might be in their hands now, but the war was far from over. And then his phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Alex's fingers shook as he opened it. "Congratulations, for now. But you've only passed the first test. The real game begins tomorrow. Are you ready to survive it?" Alex's heart stopped. He stared at the glowing screen, sweat mingling with tears on his face. The crowd cheered, oblivious to the storm that had just been unleashed. Mason laughed, a dark, sharp sound. "Looks like your nightmare's only just begun, Rivera." Alex clenched his fists, adrenaline coursing through every vein. He had faced doubt, humiliation, sabotage, but now he realized the true challenge was bigger than a game, bigger than any opponent he had faced. The stakes weren't just glory anymore, they were survival. And high above the stadium, in a shadowed press box, the woman watched him carefully, her eyes cold and calculating. She spoke into a headset, voice barely audible, Phase 2, initiate. Alex didn't know what was coming, but he knew one thing, the next level would test everything he had. His skill, his courage, his heart, everything. And this time, failure wasn't just a loss. It could destroy everything he had fought for. The final whistle blew, the crowd roared, but Alex's mind was elsewhere. He felt the first stirrings of a challenge unlike anything he had ever faced. And somewhere, in the shadows, the countdown to the real game had already begun. Alex's chest heaved, sweat and tears mingling, but a triumphant smile spread across his face. He had faced humiliation, sabotage, and the city's toughest rivals, and he had emerged victorious. The crowd erupted around him, cheering, shouting, and celebrating not just the win, but the story of a boy who refused to be defined by doubt or fear. Coach Morales clapped him on the shoulder. "You've earned everything today, Alex. Every challenge, every insult, you turned them into strength. Remember this feeling. You earned it." Alex looked around the court one last time, taking in the cheers, the pride of his teammates, and even the awed faces of those who had doubted him. He felt a calm satisfaction, a deep sense of closure. Every step of the journey, from the farm to the city, from humiliation to triumph, had led to this perfect moment. He raised the championship trophy high above his head. The stadium shook with applause, and Alex allowed himself to feel it fully, the victory, the justice, the complete triumph. He had fought, he had persevered, and he had proven, beyond any doubt, that courage, hard work, and heart could overcome anything. And as he walked off the court, arms raised, he finally felt it, peace. The story was over. The underdog had not only won, but he had closed the chapter on every doubt, every rival, and every obstacle that had tried to define him. Alex smiled, knowing this was the ending he had fought for, and it was perfect.